Hello and welcome to day 15. It also happens to be a full moon, and I just realized I don't have all the beautiful light that I could potentially have on myself. So there you go. Um, so today, we're halfway through. We're at day 15. It's a full moon. And the full moon, there's this idea that that is the thing that shines light, right? And dispels the shadows, right? And or shows you, where they are. And so at day 15, hopefully you've identified at least one, if not several areas of shadow that you're working on. And you may have gone through some ups and downs and some frustrations and some highs and some lows or whatever in the last 15 days. And you might be wondering, why am I bothering to do this? What's the point? And some of it we've already talked about, this idea that that you don't want to be essentially held hostage to past fears and wounds and difficulties, right? And, the way I was thinking about it today is you don't want to be bullied by your shadows, right? You want to understand them. You want to heal, and you want to be the master of your own self, right? You don't want to be, as I said a second ago, bullied by. And what is a bully? Bullies are almost always people who are scared or wounded themselves. When we think of people as bullies, right? People who are insecure and feel the need to sort of put themselves out there. So if your shadows are bullying you, if your emotions are carrying you and you are not sort of in charge of yourself, right? Then you can't fully grasp what you want, right? Because you're constantly being sort of buffeted by the winds of emotion or circumstance or whatever. And again, I have an example of a time for me just yesterday, actually, 2 days from when I'll be posting this on Monday. But I have a house in New Orleans, and we recently had a hurricane come very near to there and cause a lot of damage. And the adjuster had come out and said that my roof had substantial damage, but that hasn't been processed by the insurance company yet, which is completely understandable because there's a lot of people out there, and there's people out there who are in worse shape than I am. It had not yet started leaking in my house, so I wasn't too worried about it. And then I got a call from my tenant on Saturday that actually it had started to now leak in my house. So now I went from being sort of calm and understanding about it to being quite anxious about the situation. I wanted to take care of my tenant and make sure that she wasn't in a bad way or in danger or uncomfortable. And I wanted to also take care of my house and make sure that we minimize the damage that is done to it. Just for the sake of like how much it's going to cost me, and if nothing else. And I also realized there was an awful lot that I couldn't control. I couldn't control how fast the adjuster gave stuff to the insurance company. I couldn't control the fact that there's a million people whose roofs need to be fixed, or who don't even have a home maybe. And so getting a roofer out to me when I basically have a roof and the house is in pretty good shape I'm pretty far down the line, right? But there was still a lot that I couldn't control, and things that I wanted to be able to fix that I couldn't. And that made me a little anxious, and it sort of heightened my emotional and my response, right? And luckily, I've been doing this work for a while, and one of the things that comes is, even if you don't initially come to a situation with equanimity and a sense of zen, hopefully you figure out fairly quickly that you can do that you don't have to stay long in that place of heightened anxiety, right? And that's what happened yesterday. So I quickly thought, okay, what can I do? I need to try to find somebody to go at least throw a tarp up on the roof, right? So I called, and so the first thing that I remembered, hopefully, and fairly quickly, was reach out for help, you'll get it. Ask for help and you get it. And I did. I asked for help and I got it. Okay, so that was the first thing. I asked for help and I got it. Second, that I can't control these situations. It is what it is. I'm going to do my best to take care of everybody, and that's the best that I can do. 3, things always seem to work out, like things work out for the best. I, even when I'm worried about money, it always works out. And it was pointed out to, like, you're always okay. You're never not okay. And you always have what you need. And I do. I always do. So I really have nothing to be terribly concerned about. I can keep the biggest concern being about my tenant and making sure that she's okay and that the house is okay. I've got somebody tarping the roof. It's going to cost what it's going to cost, and I'll be okay. So then I was able to bring everything down, right? And that's the point. The point is getting to a place where you have mastery over yourself so that you are no longer at the mercy of past wounds, of toxic people, of circumstances beyond your control, like hurricanes, of anything that happens, right? That you are working toward becoming this island of peace, which can also be an island of joy and love and a beacon of love, right? I mean, really, that's what we want to be. We want to get to a place where we are a beacon of love, where that's what we give out. That's what we're showing to the world. And I've got that song playing in my head right now. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And God knows that's true, right? God does know that's true. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. That's why we're doing this, is to get to a place where we are no longer buffeted by our own emotions, even our desires, our fears, our wounds, whatever circumstances, other people. We are not swung. We stay true to ourselves, and we stay ultimately in contact with the divine, however we define that, right? Because that's the connection. So doing this work will, one, help you be more in contact with the divine, help you be more still so that you can hear that voice inside you. You can feel that love inside you that is your connection, and will allow the divine to show itself to you. So it allows you to be more connected, and it allows the divine to connect more with you, which will also aid in this. So it becomes really kind of a beautiful cycle, right? Calmer you get, the more you're able to connect to the divine, the more the divine can show you, and the more love you can put out in the world. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. So, beautiful work. Just the fact that you have an intention to make this happen is a beautiful thing. Keep going. Keep going. Mwah. Big love.